Alright, for your homework last night, you were assigned different problems to work out, and for this video, we're going to work through identifying the slope and the y-intercept. For number one, it's not in slope-intercept form, so you subtract 4x from both sides. That gives you negative y equals negative 4x plus 16. You can't have a negative y, so you divide by negative 1 on both sides. Y equals 4x minus 16. So your slope is 4, your y-intercept is negative 16. For number 2, again, we need it in slope-intercept form. 3y equals negative 2x plus 8. Divide by 3 on both sides. Y equals negative 2/3 x plus 8/3. So your slope is negative 2/3. Your y-intercept is 8/3. Number 3 is already in slope-intercept form. Your slope is 2. Your y-intercept is 7. For number 4, I know that we like to have our y on the left side, but since y doesn't have a coefficient, we can just add 1 to both sides. That gives us 3x plus 1 equals y. Because this is an equal sign, it doesn't matter that 3x plus 1 is on the left or y is on the right. We can easily switch those to get it in y equals mx plus b. So that gives us y equals 3x plus 1. And 3 is our slope. 1 is our y-intercept. For number 5, it is already in slope-intercept form. So your slope is 3/4 because your slope, your rise over run, is what is in front of the x. And your y-intercept is negative 7. For number 6, to isolate your y, you need to divide by 3 on both sides. And y equals 6. Your slope is 0 because you don't have a rise over run. This is just going to be a horizontal line, and it's going to pass through the y-axis at 6. For number 7, we divide by 3 on both sides. Y equals 2/3 x minus 3. Your slope is 2/3. Y-intercept is negative 3. For number 8, subtract 5x from both sides. We cannot combine 10 and negative 5x, so we just write them beside each other. Then we divide by 4 on both sides. We have to divide both numbers by 4. We cannot divide negative 5/4 evenly, so we're just going to leave that as a fraction. And 10/4 will simplify. 2 will go to both of those. That leaves us with 5/2. So our slope is negative 5/4. Our y-intercept is 5/2. For number 9, we need to subtract 4x from both sides. That gives us negative 1/3 y equals negative 4x minus 2. Because we're multiplying negative 1/3 with y, we have to divide by 1/3. We know that when we divide by a fraction, we multiply by the reciprocal. So we're multiplying both sides by negative 3. Y equals 12x plus 6. Your slope is 12. Your y-intercept is 6. For number 10, add 6 to both sides, 6x. Y equals 6x plus 5. Your slope is 6. Your y-intercept is 5. For number 12, add x to both sides because we have to get this in slope-intercept form. We have to divide by 4 because we have to do the inverse operation. That leaves me with y equals 1/4 x plus 3/4. Since I cannot divide these into whole numbers, I keep them as fractions. My slope is 1/4. My y-intercept is 3/4. For number 13, subtract 4x on both sides. 7y equals negative 4x plus 8. Y is still not by itself, so I have to divide by 7 on both sides. That gives me y equals negative 4/7. Remember, if you cannot divide it evenly, you leave it as a fraction, plus 8/7. My slope is -4/7. We're going to go down 4 and to the right 7. And we're going to start this on the y-axis at 8/7. For 14 through 16, we are writing this in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. My slope is m, and b is where it crosses the y-axis, so it is your y-intercept. So all we do is substitute the m and the b for the numbers that are given to us. Number 14 is y equals -4x plus 7. Number 15, y equals 1/2 x plus 3. And number 16 is y equals 5x plus 2/3. For number 17, we are to write these in slope-intercept form. So we're going to subtract subtract 4x from both sides. That leaves me with -2y equals -4x plus 10. I have to get y by itself, so I need to divide by -2 on both sides. That leaves me with y equals 2x minus 5. Number 18, y equals 8x, is already in slope-intercept form. Number 19, y equals 6, that is a horizontal line, and it is already in slope-intercept form. For number 20, we add 2x to both sides, and we get y equals 2x plus 9. For number 21, subtract 3x from both sides. 4y equals -3x plus 5, because you cannot combine unlike terms. Divide by 4 on both sides, and y equals -3/4 x plus 5/4. For number 22, we need to subtract 4x from both sides. That gives me 5y equals -4x plus 15. Divide by 5. Y equals -4/5 x plus 3. For number 23, to get y by itself, I subtract 7x. 7x minus 7x leaves me with -y. I cannot have a negative y, so I have to divide by the coefficient of -1 on both sides. That leaves me with y equals 7x minus 6. And for number 24, x equals 10. This is not a function, but it does have an equation. This is going to be a vertical line. X equals 10. For 25 through 30, we have to find the equation of the line with the given points. So the first thing we have to do for each one is find the slope. For 25, I have y minus y over x minus x. 5 minus 4 is 1. 4 minus 2 is 2. I have to plug the slope and a point into y equals mx plus b in order to find my y-intercept. Does not matter which one you pick. I'm going to use 2, 4. 4 equals 1/2 times 2 plus b. 1/2 of 2 is 1. Bring everything else down. To get b by itself, I subtract 1. My y-intercept is 3. So my equation is y equals 1/2 x plus 3. For 26, we did the same thing. We have -4 minus 3 over -1 minus -2. -4 minus 3 is -7. -1 plus 2, because I've added an inverse, is 1. So my slope is -7. Pick a point to plug in. We have y equals negative 7 times x plus b. Negative 7 times negative 2 is 14. Bring everything else down. Subtract 14 from both sides. We get our y-intercept is negative 11. So y equals negative 7x minus 11. For 27, we have 1 minus negative 7. Remember, it doesn't matter which y you pick first, as long as that's the x that you pick first. 1 plus 7 is 8. Negative 1 plus 2 is 1. So our slope is 8. We have 1 equals negative 1 times 8 plus b. Negative 1 times 8 is negative 8. Add 8 to both sides. My y-intercept is 9. So the equation is y equals 8x plus 9. For number 28, I have to do the same thing. I find my slope first, and then I plug the slope in with an ordered pair into y equals mx plus b in order to find my equation. So I do 8 minus 5 over 2 minus 1. 8 minus 5 is 3. 2 minus 1 is 1. Plug in a point. 5 equals 3 times 1 plus b. 3 times 1 is 3. Bring everything else down. Subtract 3 from both sides. My y-intercept is 2. So my equation is y equals 3x plus 2. For number 29, I have to find my slope. 3 minus 0 over 2 minus 0. That gives me 3 halves. So my equation is y equals 3 halves x. I have a point where x is 0, and I know that my y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis, which is when x is 0. So if this passes through the origin, then my equation stays as y equals 3 halves x. For number 30, I get 3 minus 2 over 2 minus 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. 2 minus 2 is 0. I cannot divide a number by 0, so my slope is undefined. But I know this is going to be a vertical line, and no matter which point I have on this graph, my input or my x variable is going to be 2. So the equation is x equals 2.